welcome to C++ tutorial. My name is Abdullah Konuklar. Today I'm going to talk about classes. So what does class means? Class is an expanded concept of data structure, so you can actually do anything with classes, like function-wise. So I'll show you the general outline of classes, then I'll show you some examples about classes. So let's create a project from Xcode. So first of all, I will show you the outline of the classes. So let me do these comment lines. So what does class includes? So first of all, class includes a class name. You always start with this. You write a class, then your class name over here, and you open your curly bracket. This is your access specifier, and this is your member. For example, like private, public, and protected. You have three specifiers here. I'll also talk about what they do, what is the difference between them. So these are your members for each specifier. For example, public, integer A, like this, and private, int B. Goes like this, and then you close your curly bracket, and you can do this like, you can finish your class like this, but you can also do this. You can add an object right here between this place. So any object name will fit for here. So let's talk about private member of class. So private member of class are accessible only from within other members of the same class. So you can't access that class, that integer B from another class. But for integer A, you can reach from any class you want. Protected members are accessible from members of their same class and from their friends. So I'll talk about this one too. So let's get started with a simple example. Include IOStream. So here's our main. You always write your classes out of your main function. So let's write it over here. So for example, definition of our class, our name of class, curly bracket, or integers, or the members, I mean. So public, for example. I can write anything here. For example, I wanted to include a function named setValues, and it takes two integers, and also I want to add int area, and it takes void. So I can finish my class like this, but if I want to add an optional object in my class, I can do this. For example, red. This is an object. What does object means? I can use my class members with this object in my int main or in my functions. So let's see how do we use it. So this is the basics of class. So let's write the same class again to define it better. I'll remove it back. Int x and y, public, void from public, void set values, takes integer, and for example int area, it takes void here. So I'll just do this, return x times y to me. So I'll just finish my class over here and I'll remove it. So This is my function. The set values is a function of my class. So how do I define my function of class? I can define it like this. For example, void. This is the type of my function. So I write it first. Then the name of my class over here. And then name of my function. So it takes two integers here. So we write integer a and integer b, for example. So this is the member of our classes, so we can do this. X is equal to a, y is equal to b, and this is done. How do we call it in our main function? Is like this. For example, you define an integer like this, right? Or double like this. So we can define our class object like this. Name of the class and, for example, test. So how do we use it? Test dot, for example, set values. Set values. I want 5 and 5. So what it's gonna do is, if we call the function in our cRectangle class, so we define the test object of cRectangle. So set values, it will come over here and it will do this. So what it's gonna do is, x will be a, so x will be 5, and let's change it as a 4, and b will be, y will be 4. So we set our numbers over here. So we have set our values. So how do we use our values? Is like this. For example, CR, the area is equal to our object name and the function name, which is area. So let's see what it does. I'm sorry. So here we go. What it does is, we created an object of cRectangle class, then we use a function of cRectangle class again, which is set values, and which is defined over here. We equaled the 5 to x and 4 to b, and we called another function called area, which multiplies x and y. So 5 and 4, and it will output its output as 20. So let's do another example. Let's remove all these. Let's keep here, to be honest. So let's call it in another way. Integer main. So for example, name of our class and name of our objects, for example, rect and rect b. So first let's set the values again. Rect dot set values, for example 4, 3 and 4, and rect b dot set values, for example 5 and 6. So we can call it several times as you want. I just want to show this. So first one is equal to rect dot area and line, and the second one rect b dot area and line. So let's see. Here we go. It works like a charm. So for example, let's add another functions to make it clear. So what can we use? I'll show you constructor and the constructors too. So let's write our class again. cRectangle. We'll take int width and height. These are pointers. Public cRectangle. This is the name of our class. We can call it like this. So it will be the constructor of our class. So it will take two integers in itself, and this is called the constructor. C rectangle. So I'll show you what they do. So let's write our area. If we return as what? Return as width times height. And end of our class. So let's write our, this is our constructor. And this is our destructor, or also known as the constructor. So let's write our function. Let's write the function of our constructor first. C rectangle dot C rectangle. This is the type of our function, which is C rectangle, and this is the type name of our class. So what it takes is two integers, right? So let's see integer a and integer b. So width is equal to new int, and our height is equal to new integer also. So what are we going to do is creating a new spots for our width and height object. So width is equal to a and height is equal to b. So, and this is the end of our constructor. It's simple. And let's write our deconstructor too. C rectangle, name of our class, and name of our function is C rectangle. So what it does is, have you seen the delete before? Delete destructs the allocated memory. So we will just simply write width and height. So let's call them. So for example, C rectangle defining an object again. We can directly do like this. For rect B, for example, 5 and 6. So cout rect area is equal to rect dot area and line. Sorry. Cout rect B area is equal to rect B dot area and line. So let's see what it does. So it does the same. Constructor is generally used in every class, so it's better to use in every class. So if you don't write your own constructor, it will add it automatically. So I'll also talk about the overloading operators, which is like this. What can we do? Let me show you. So remove those. We have a constructor here. The constructor here. We won't be using this one this time. So another one, C rectangle, it takes nothing inside of itself. So I'll just remove the pointers over here. They were necessary for the destructor, so we don't use it anymore. So I'll just simply delete it. So this is our area. We can write void or anything we want here, but it doesn't matter as long as you know what to do. So let's write our constructor first again. C rectangle. This is the first constructor, which is this one here. So it takes nothing in itself, so we can directly do this. Width equal to 5 and height is equal to 5. So for this constructor of ours, our class, we have to define our integer, what to do with those integers. So int a and int b. So we simply do this. Width is equal to a and height is equal to b. That's simple. So our integer main we define as C rectangle, name of our class, and our object name rectangle 3 3 and 4, for example, and C rectangle rect B. So cout the first rect area of first one, rect that area and line. So and cout rect area number 2, rect B that area. So we have defined the object which has 2 integers in self, right? So this is the constructor of this thing, this function, and this doesn't have an input of itself, right? So this will automatically goes to this one, and the height and width will be equal to 5 on the second one, rect B. So let's compile and see. So 3 and 4, 3 times 4 is equal to 12, and 5 times 5 is equal to 25. So what can I show you? Let me do another class example. Let them stay here. So for example, class multiply. So there's a public, which means other class can reach those things. So I will define integer a, b, and c, and I will write my function over here, multiply function. It takes m. So what it does is a is equal to n, b is equal to m, and c is equal to a times b. Let me write this like this so you can understand it better. And closing our function and finishing, completing our class. So we can call it with another classes. We can call it for C rectangle and so on. So let's try what to do with this. Okay. For example, we have the name of our class is multiply, right? So test. So we defined our object. What can we do with this object? Let's see. We can call multiply class, right? So let's see, test dot multiply. For example, 10 and 4. We can directly do this like this. It's equal to this one. Let me put over here and line. Binary expression, what we are doing is wrong. Oh, this is a void. So let's run it. Let's just to see if it's gonna print something or not. So it didn't, right? So where is it? We'll take 2 integers. It will do this, and do this. Okay. So cout test. You can directly write it like this. Test is equal to test that multiply 3 and 4, right? What does it say? Oh, that's void. Sorry. That's an integer over here. So let's run it. You can't directly write voids over here. So we haven't returned any function over here, so we will return this one. So that's why it is 0. So let's also write an end line comment over here. So here we go. We can try it with another thing. 1 point. It takes integers, so I can try it like a double times 5. So works like this. That's all. Thank you for watching my tutorial. See you on next lecture.